Okay, good evening, guys. Okay. So, Flutter. So, I'm saying that the game changer in cross-platform development. Why I am saying the game changer? So, let's find out that I am Sanath Nandasiri. So, as name says, I supposed to be a singer, but end up being a developer and father to this guy here, and tech lead and a team lead, and the head of mobile practice at Tikri, and also the event hoster, Colombo Meetup, and also I'm a speaker there. And my agenda is introduce the Flutter and show the potential, and I have a demo, and I'm going to do that and answer your questions. So what is Flutter? So it is simply answer to the cross-platform development from the Google. So it's very latest one for this cross-platform arena. So it was introduced in 2017. The new latest one is 1.191. So it is mainly influenced by the game development and also React Native and reactive development paradigm. And it's supposed to, initially supposed to support mobile, and then they let extend to desktop and web and other IoT devices as well, right? So let's look at the architecture of the Flutter. So this is the building block of the Flutter SDK or architecture platform. So here you can see we have C++ engine there, and we have Skia. Actually, it's like game engine. So the whole Flutter concept depends on top of this Skia engine, and also an Dart runtime and the text engine. Right? On top of that, we have foundation written by Dart, and the animation, printing, and gesture detection, and the rendering part. On top of that, we have a thing called widget, and in the same layer, we have, you can see two boxes, material and Cupertino. So let's figure out what this is, these components. So, and the why this is so promising than other cross-platform development, especially React Native. You know, the React Native is the big brother of this cross-platform development these days. So this is the answer from the Google side to the Facebook. So you can see here the top of this figure. So you can see React Native basic architecture, and the latter part you can see a Flutter one. So here what we have in the React Native, you have a JavaScript there, and the bridge and other OEM widget and Canvas event and other platform services, right? This side represent the OS and this side application, and in the platform terminology, the cross-platform and the native code, and the Flutter and React Native. So what the React Native does is you write JavaScript code and JavaScript logic, and it has a bridge to communicate with the OS, right? So it says to native layer, so I have a button, I have a text view, and it has this color, and please render that for me. So the React Native request from the native side, so give me this one. I need this kind of color and this size of height, width, just give me that, right? So it has to pass a couple of layers to go there. And then again, it has to come all the way up to this layer, right? Even though they're saying that we are rendering the native component there, but the thing is this communication latency, right? Then you can see the Flutter counterpart. They move that widget rendering part, OEM widget part, to the framework itself, to the Flutter side, right? So, and the Flutter depend on the Dart code. So, Dart handle all the widget rendering in their side, right? Not requesting from the native side. So he just draw the picture and show it in the native canvas, right? That's what happened in the Flutter. And also, they have platform channel, so they can directly communicate with the system services. So thing is, when you compile this code, it completely converts into native code. That's why it is very, very performance optimized. And the major part is this, the Dart programming language. So what is Dart? So it is optimized for client-side development, and it's inherit lot of features from the Java, C#, and it's about hot reloading, and you can compile it to any given platform, 86, 64, ARM, whatever. And also, it can compile to JavaScript for the web, right? And for me, it was mere zero effort because it's very easy to learn, right? And it has rich features like network, the threading features like future async and await, and also functional programming aspect also. And the latest version is 2.6. If you need to experiment the Dart, you can go to the Dart pad, which is provide some kind of area to play with. And why it is support our development and the when it comes to runtime. So runtime, it is very fast, very close to the native performance. So why it is? So it uses Dart programming language and Dart virtual machine. You know, in the compiler, we know we have a JIT compilers and also AOT compilers. So what happened here, when you develop your software, your application, it uses JIT and Dart virtual machine, right? When you push the code in development time to any devices, it installed Dart virtual machine and use JIT on top of that, and it provide runtime, I mean the just-in-time compilation. And also, it helps to do hot reloading, right? And when you deploy your code, it's especially compiled to the native code, right? So there we have a Dart runtime and also the ahead of time compilation support, and it's converted to the native code and run on top of the runtime, right? And web also do same setup. I don't familiar with this. And why this is important for developers, right? You know, when the client come to us for the solution, basically in the mobile arena, they ask, so can we do this cross-platform, right? But the design, you know, when it comes to implement the design, it is very hard, right? So this Flutter, we can do rapid prototyping. I mean, you can look at the design and can copy exact design into the implementation, right? And reduce maintenance overhead because it is cross-platform, reuse the code across the platform, and testing effort, and easy to learn. And we have functional programming. So when we using callback and things, we can pass the function, not the listeners and things. How to handle the frustration over there. And it uses modern reactive style development. The reactive API is also there. And the tool chain is very robust one. And the client perspective, so it reduces the development cost and reduce the cost of design. So why I am saying that, I will show you. When we request icons from the designer, he has to design in a mind to support all the platform, and when the exporting the assets also, it takes some time, right? So he has to accommodate all those things, but with the Flutter, you have to export this once we can use across the platform. And also parallel release cycles, believe me, in my experience, never get late one platform, all goes smoothly, and milestone to milestone. And the performance impact is very less. It's very close to native, and it's supposed 60 frames per second, and less time to market. Those are things which client needs. And Flutter app structure. So this is basically the structure it uses. You can see here, it has the Android hosting project and the iOS one, and we are dealing with, here you can see lib folder. So there the Flutter stuff going, and also we have a testing, and a special one, pub-spec YAML file. It is the place where we handle the all dependencies. And in the Flutter slogan is, everything is widget. So when it comes to Flutter, everything is widget. So let's find out what's widget. So here, since we are using reactive development, so we have two kind of widgets, basic widgets. So what is first one is stateless widgets. So what it does, it takes the parameters, the attribute from the constructor, and the build UI on top of that, right? So it supports the single widget can build many different build contexts, because when we pass something to constructor, it builds and show. So we can reuse it everywhere. So depend on the build context, it will return new widget. And stateful widget, it also uses constructor, but it maintains state there. So when we change the state, it gets rebuilt many times, right? So, and a widget tree. So when we considering application structure, widget structure, it like this. So we have app in the material app and scaffolding. I will show you what's the scaffolding. So, and it has all the widgets like trees, right? Top to bottom, bottom to top, it's all widgets, right? And state, this is the main part when it comes to the reactive development, state. So state is the where we place, let's say, like variable, right, with a value. So when we change that one and we store at that one, so on top of that, we build this UI component, right? And or Redux, right? Redux is the, I think, state handle the godfather. So I am not familiar with that, right? So in the, when it comes to the application, there are a lot of screens. So there has to have a good navigation mechanism. So Flutter provides the navigation. You can see the source code samples. We can define routes to every screen and pass the argument, right? And the asset management. As I said that when we design the assets, you can see this is the Flutter side, not iOS or Android side, not the hosting project. So inside the Flutter, you can manage all the assets. Fonts, images, you can see here, we have 2x folder, 3x folder. Likewise, we can put same image there, and you can call like this. See the asset part, you can define there, then you can use. Also fonts. If you know the native developers, you know how hard it is to use the font all over the places, right? And also asset, right? If you know Android development, is very difficult, right? And also plugins. So I am doing this very rapidly because I have to do demo, right? So plugins. So you can see here my current project, how many plugins are there. So you name it, it's there already, right? So it supports both Flutter and Dart plugins, right? And also native API plugins. Let's say you have to do the ring or white braid. There are plugins which uses native APIs. And all the dependencies defined in the this pub-spec YAML file, and all the plugin hosted in pub.dev, right? And also native access. So you know when it comes to this cross-platform arena, it's very difficult to utilize this native APIs. So this is the structure of the native accessing native things. You can see here we have a client tab. It has a state. So the iOS and Android host projects, you can go there and you can access their native APIs and also third-party APIs which are developed for iOS and Android. Let's say networking library, whatever, we have a native source code. We can put that plugin there, whatever the pod or the Gradle dependency, we can call it from the Flutter side. So it supports a third party as well, right? So let's get into the demo, right? So what I'm going to show you, this is the structure. So we have a material lab. We define some routes to go to the home screen and the detail. And I'm supposed to pass some details to the detail screen and show it there, right? So it should end up like this if time give us a chance. Let's see. Okay, I already defined the project skeleton, right? There's some sample code also. So can you see this one? Backside? Right. Okay. So I also have a lifeline. Let's see. So I run my code already. So you can see here, it's ugly as hell, Larry. So let's see how we can accommodate that design. Right here you can see I have a code called my app. It is stateless widget, and so there you can see it build method return material app. Right. This means we are going to use material design. Right. So here we define title and theme, and we have one screen called home. So I set simple container, and we have a child. So this is not going to work when it comes to that design. So I'm going to create a new widget. This is basically home screen .dart. Right. So this is empty screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a stateful widget. Right. I name it as a home screen. Right. So it says I missed the dependencies. So here you can import the dependencies. So you can see here we have Cupertino, material, and widget. Widget is a very basic one. the material one and Cupertino one is the stylus version of that widget, right? So since I'm going to use the material one, so I select that. So all the dependencies are gone. So here you can see that we have a stateful widget and it creates state, right? State is the thing who return the created widget part. Here you can see not in the stateful widget we have a build method, right? It is inside the state. That means depend on the state is return the UI part, right? So here we simply return child. So here I will put text. So I will say it, this is home. Right? So and save it. So what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to change this container to that screen. I'm going to add this home screen as my main entry point and save it. You can see this is home. Now it use our newly created screen, but it is ugly as hell. So let's see what we can do. So go to the home screen. So here you can see it is just a container. It not defined any structure, any pattern over here. So what I'm going to do is I delete this container. I use scaffold here. Right? So scaffold, you can see when I use empty scaffold, it's white screen. So here I'm going to add body part. Right? Body, I am going to use column. As name says, it align the component in a vertical manner. Right? So in that design, you can see we have a text box over there and middle, and we have a button in the bottom, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to create that whole widget tree, right? So inside the children of the column, I'm going to define text view, right? Welcome to Dev Day 2019. Right, now you can see welcome is there, but it is on top of the, it is hide by the notch, right? So we'll arrange it, and I have to enter another text box here. So you can see when I code, so it's aligned like this when I put the what is comma, and when I press control, I can't remember. So there is a key combination, you can utilize that. So I need another text view. It will hold our count, right? And also I need a button. We can use raise button. Press control, and we can see the API, right? So here you can see all the things we can enter, right? something I forget. So I forget the basic. It also child, and you can put a text. Click me. Now you can see there is a button also, but it is barely visible, right? So I need to arrange this thing. So here you can, in the column, we have main axis alignment, right? So you can align these things with space between. Now you can see the button goes into top position, and something in the middle, and something in the top, right? And also I go utilize the whole space along the cross axis. So now you can see the button expand, right? So here, and also we have app bar, which has the actions and title, action, title we can put text view, day, right? When I save that, you can see here, it provide action bar, right? So here you can see in the top of the part, it is behind the iOS, the navigation thing. So what we can do is, we can provide what is called, something called the safe area. So now these notch and other stuffs, they use these days. So we have to support that also, right? So here we can wrap what happened my keyboard? Yeah, wrap it new widget, which is called safe area. You can see here all the things are, since all the things are the widgets, just wrapping provide big difference, right? So, and also I need to make this text big. So since we have less time, I'm going to copy the source code, right? So I have to show the big text view middle part of the screen. So I'm gonna copy that style. Put it here, and also I'm gonna map with center. So now you can see big button, right? And for the button also, I am going to use flat button, which wrap with the container and which has height 60. Now you can see the button. So I'm going to remove this widget called safe area, and I am going to put grab this by container and add padding. So we add the padding as edge inset, all, which is just 16. Right now it is much good, right? And also in this text box, I am going to use text align as alignment dot center. Sorry, we have to use text align center. Now it center align the widget, and in order to handle what this app does, when we press the button, it increments the counter and record the time, right? So I am going to implement this here in the. You can see in the click listener, when you pressing the button, you can do the code. So here also, I'm going to copy code, right? So you can see, we can set the status, right? So here we have two state. What is first one is a counter and also time, right? So here I have to define two variables which hold the state, right? So I am going to copy that and paste it here, right? Right. Now, when we press in, it's supposed to be increment, but what we have to do is we have to introduce this counter variable here. In Flutter, you can do it like this, right? Why it is null? When after we did this the application, we haven't recreate the state, right? So we have to provide initial value. So I'm going to restart that. Right. So what we have to do is, when the stateful widget define, you can when this state created, before this state created, it called init state. So here I am going to give count as 0 and time list as empty list. Right. So now it is 0. So when you press that, it gets incremented, right? And one other thing is, I'm going to see another screen with the list of the which is the counter and what is the time we count it, right? So we have to create this screen, right? So what I'm going to do is create new file called details. Sorry, in Flutter you have to use simple letters with underscore detail screen dot. So this will be a stateless widget, right? So screen, and also I'm going to import material, and here we'll provide container, empty container. And here, we have to pass our variables, right, to this screen, right? So in order to do that, we have to register our route mechanism, right? What I'm going to do is, I'm going to register our routing mechanism, right? So here I have defined all the routes. And copy this and put it in here. Push it. So I import the second screen. So what it says is our initial point is the slash. So it direct to home screen, and the detail screen go to the detail one, right? So and also right. So it created the application. So here I have to go through that screen. So I have to put the action item over there inside on top of the action bar. So I'm going to include that also. And it's not here. We copy it here. The action button part. So I'm going to include the home screen as the action bar item. So we have here detail class which include time and counter, time list and counter. So bad variable naming. So we have detail class which include the time time lapse and the counter, right? So I'm going to pass that into the another screen. So in there we have to grab that value, right? What I'm going to do is the call this line of code which give us the value which provided by the first screen. Right. So we have details here. So what I'm going to do, let's see. Here also we have to define kind of scaffolding. Otherwise, it don't look like. Here we have abba, which don't have anything. Also we have body, which include column. So it has children. Okay. So I increase, you can see here the action button. When I press that, it goes to another screen, but it doesn't have anything. So I'm going to give a title here, another text widget. Time is up. Give me a 5 minutes. Right. So you can see when I go to that screen and I change some code, it also just reloaded, right? And let's copy more. Okay. In the detail screen, I am going to create this container and include it as the one of the widget children, and the, let's say, what happened? Nothing happened, right? So basically I have to save. Now you can see the counter value there. I pass it here and show that. So, and I need the list view to show all the time lapse. So what I'm going to do is just copy that too. So again, you can't see any list, because since this is the kind of expandable widget, so we have to wrap it. It is with expanded widget. So now you can see all the time lapse, right? And also, you can see we haven't included the back button there, right? You can see here when we click, it will give iOS feeling, right? So even when we swipe this, it goes to the previous one, right? In Android, it provides Android alternative app bar with this Android native back button support, right? And other couple of things. And let's see. Here, I want to give some what's called animation, right? Let's make our button a little bit beautiful. Home screen. Now you can see a rounded button. What I have done, I include kind of decoration. So in normal Android, you know what we have to do to provide such a facility, right? One thing is, this is the same all across the Android versions which support Flutter, right? No need to have design tweaks, right? Once it is done, right? It's same as all over the platforms, right? And one other thing, little animation, not big one. So we have a widget called hero. When we wrap something with the same tag, right? So it will give a nice animation, right? Right. When we increment time, the counter, and you can see when we navigate, you can see that 10 goes up and reside the place where I defined in the second screen. So that house is good. You can see the action bar a little bit elevated than the other content. So just make elevation 0. So you know what we have to do, get this into same level in the native platforms, right? And over here also, we can do same thing. Right? I think that's it. And one other thing, I will show that one too. So since I added the yeah. So let's see. Let's say I need to change font. So what I have to do is include the pub spec like this, and it will update the pub spec, and also in the main widget, you have to include font family as the Roboto here. it change the font, but it doesn't make any big difference, right? And also, if you need to import any dependency, you can do it here. This IntelliJ package we are using for the internationalization. So here inside this common function, I do the default time mechanism. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to format the date. I have to import the plugin. Something wrong there. Let's revert it. So that's it. And more learning, you can refer this link, Flutter dev and Dart dev, pub dev, whatever the Dart, pub, the Flutter, and YouTube channel and Medium channel also. Any questions? You can't hear? This one? Okay. So if you have no questions, so you can contact me, my office mail and private mail. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanath, for a comprehensive session on Flutter.